right, you ready for story time?
No.
You want to read this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one? This one?
Yeah.
You want this story?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna read Monkey with a Two Belt.
Two.
Chico Bonbon and Clark were on their way to school. Chico wore a special two belt for school. His tools helped him with his classwork and with all sorts of things that needed fixing. They arrived right on time. "Good morning, everyone," said Miss Crabtree. Chico and Clark took their seats. Clark's chair responded with a noise that sounded like creak splat, then broke into 14 pieces. Chico got out his chair pair and put it back together. "Today we are going to the school library to pick out new books," Miss Crabtree announced. Chico had to repair a few things along the way. He fixed a few lockers whose locks wouldn't lock. He straightened the hands of the big hallway clock. He oiled the door with an ear-splitting squeak and fixed up the fountain, the one with the leak. Mr. Marion, the librarian, welcomed the class, but when he led them to the shelves, he let out a quiet scream. Everything from Aardvark Summer to Pig's Pumpkin Patch is gone, he whispered loudly. "Maybe somebody is doing a really big book report," whispered Clark, and Chico looked unsure. The students chose their books from the letters Q through Z. Then they headed back to their classroom for math class. It was measuring day, but Miss Crabtree could not find her ruler, and Chico let her use the ruler from his tool belt. The students measured different objects around the classroom. Next time it was time for show and tell. Clark was going to show his watermelon before snacking on it later, but when he took it out of his backpack, half of it was gone. And Wayne took out his baseball cards, but the whole team had been chewed to pieces. Everybody's show and tell things had problems. It was a disaster. "Something strange is going on here," said Chico Banban. He slowly looked around the room. Nothing seemed out of place, except for one thing. There was an acorn on the pencil sharpener. That's odd. When the class headed outside for recess, Chico climbed up the jungle gym and sat at the top, thinking. What could be causing all of this? He wondered. Was it ghosts? A magnetic field? Sneaky gorillas? A book club gone wild? A prankster teacher?
Outside.
Sixth graders? Or those girls over there digging a hole? He just didn't know. In geography class, they were studying the continents, but when Miss Crabtree pulled down the map of North America, everything was missing except for Canada. And Chico Bonbon noticed tiny bite marks all along the Canadian border. "This is definitely a clue, Miss Crabtree," he said. Just then the bell rang. It was time for lunch. Taco Tuesday!
Yay!
But then they got to the lunchroom. There were no tacos. Someone had all the taco shells and the trays. They'd taken them. "You have to put your taco fillings in these paper cups," lunch lady Carol said sadly. "Don't forget to grab a spork," she sighed. Clark and Chico took their taco cups and sat down at the table. And Chico filled a banana peel with his taco filling. "This is almost as good as the shell," he said between bites. "You sure are good with sporks," said Clark with his mouth full of lettuce. Chico finished his lunch and decided to investigate. So he went to look around the school. He found that a lot of things were missing. A lot of things had been chewed on too. In the library, he noticed there was still one book left on an empty shelf. He picked it up and took a closer look. Behind the book, there was a hole in the wall, and Chico peered in and saw a tunnel. He heard noises coming from somewhere inside. He pulled out his flashlight and crawled in. It was a tight squeeze. The noises got louder and louder. He turned the corner and came to a door. The book door had a lock on it. Chico had read this book. It was a sequel. He liked it a lot. Chico used his 2-inch book hook to gently pry the hinges off the door. They were only glued on. So he swung the door back and peeked through on the opening in the wall. It was a room full of squirrels, and squirrels had built a school in the walls. And the squirrels looked up when Chico popped his head out of the tunnel. Hello? Hello? Are you new? No. I was just wondering, what are you doing? We're studying bird feeders. This is our school. Well, I'm not sure if you know this, but you sort of built your school by taking stuff from our school. Seriously? All this is yours? Yes it is. But I could help you build your own school, a school not held together with tape and library books. Really? You could do that? I'll run to the office and tell the others. Others? And Chico remembered a hollow oak tree by the playground. It would be perfect for a squirrel school. So all the kids and squirrels helped him build it, and everyone shared Chico's tools. Then Chico patched up the tunnel, and the squirrels returned all the stolen items. When they had finished, they all shared story time out loud on the lawn. And even though the squirrels still may not have been the ideal companions, everybody had fun. Boy, having your 2 belts sure comes in handy at school, said Clark, tripping over a squirrel and crashing onto the seesaw. Really does, said Chico, as he reached into his 2-belt for his clamshell clamps and super sticky seesaw sealant. For some reason, there's always something to fix. The end.
L-O-E-E